Beautiful people, and right now I have the opportunity to talk with a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful soul, Brittney Perry. Y'all make some noise for her. Clap it up 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 for her. So, Brittney, we're gonna jump straight into it. Tell us about your journey, and if you don't know, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and what you bring to Butter.
So my name is Brittney Perry. I'm the founder of PerryCo Shoes, which is a unisex footwear and accessories brand that I started in 2018. So originally, I'm from Indianapolis. I was born and raised. I went to Pike High School, graduated from Ball State, and I didn't have a background in fashion, but I've always been into sneakers and fashion. I played basketball growing up. And then when I graduated from college, I got a job in insurance actually. And I couldn't wear like my typical athletic sneakers in that environment, so I was always on the go, and I was like, I wish I had a shoe I could wear like for work, but if I could, go out afterwards and be comfortable. So that kind of gave me the idea to start my own footwear brand. But I just really wanted to break barriers for women because growing up I always had to wear men's sneakers, and I just saw that there were a lack of diversity in the footwear industry and a lack of options for women's sneakers. So that's kind of what started my journey.
What gave you the idea to come up with like a customizable sneaker for Butter? Like, how did you come up with that idea?
Well, I met Alan and Molly because Alan always wears my shoes, and they were actually in Los Angeles for an event, and they were like, we should definitely work together, like it makes sense. And usually when I do collaborations, it's more so like doing like a custom shoe or something like that, but I didn't feel like that fit what Butter was. And Butter's about, breaking barriers and providing opportunities for other people. So I really just wanted to do like a blank canvas to give people the opportunity to make their own wearable art. So the shoes I have on are customized.
Super fire, by the way.
They're in the Butter shop, so they're usually like a blank canvas, and it comes with acrylic paint markers so people can customize the art themselves. So you can create your own sneaker. So it's basically like we're all artists in some way, right? So just giving people the opportunity to create their own art.
Absolutely. And we were talking over there, and you were talking about your transition from, you said you went to school for marketing. How does that help you as far as what you have as far as your shoe, like that marketing degree?
It doesn't help at all, honestly.
Keep it real, let's keep it real.
No, it's just because when I went to school, marketing was just, I don't know, it's different than what it was. Like it's like price promotion, probably more so of a system. But now there's just so many other things that are involved in marketing, and then you throw in social media, it just changes so quickly. But there are still some things that are relevant, but I don't think it really helped too much, to be honest.
I'm glad that you're keeping it real. I appreciate that. So what you talking about when you was growing up, you always had to buy men's shoes, and I always heard that like growing up as well. It's like, oh, these sneakers are fire, but they're for men. So what gave you the push to come up with not just a women's shoe or a men's shoe, but a genderless shoe?
Right. I would say the inspiration behind, I've always been into sneakers, and there were, obviously my brother right here, he collected Jordans and things, so I think that kind of rubbed off on me a little bit, to be honest. But I think the inspiration was just because growing up, a lot of women felt excluded, oh, these aren't for me. And then sometimes women would get exclusive releases, and then men would be like, oh, I wish I could have these. So I just saw that people just like product, right? It's just more so about more inclusivity and providing extended sizing so that everybody can fit it. So I just didn't want anyone to feel excluded from purchasing any of my products, so I just make everything for everybody.
When you think of sneakers, and you think of what you're doing, what is your dream collaboration? Because I know everybody has a ladder that they climb in their field. So for you personally, what's a dream collaboration, and why would it be what it is?
I don't know. I would say maybe like a collab with Ralph Lauren or Coach. Because I would say they're more along the lines of my style as far as minimal, you can kind of dress it up, dress it down, but more so longevity. So it's Ralph Lauren's been around for years, it never goes out of style. Coach has been around for years. They kind of fell off a little bit. They've been coming back strong, but their product is really good. It lasts a long time. So I want to partner with brands that are similar in style to mine, but they're legacy brands, because I want to be a legacy brand. I don't want to be a trendy a trendy brand.
I'm glad that you segued into that. So we was talking about 2018 when you got your start. 2018, I didn't see a lot of people going after like trying to make shoes and have their own shoe, things like that. So over the course of these years of 2018 to present, like what's something that's kept you consistent? When other shoe brands and everything, individual shoe companies start coming out and stuff, what's something that has kept you rooted and kept you focused on your mission?
I don't know, I think I've seen more brands come out, but there's still not a lot of women-owned brands. I think there's been a couple, but I still feel like there was like a shift in 2020 where there were more emphasis on like black-owned brands and things like that, but I feel like it's kind of drifting off a little bit. So I think that's even more now than ever, like I'm even more motivated to keep going because we still need opportunities. I still feel like there's opportunity lacking for women, for people of color in general, and just ownership in general, because especially for sneakers, like they utilize black and brown people for marketing, but then we just didn't own anything. So I definitely wanted to change that narrative for sure. And also, it's just the people in the community that keeps me motivated, because sometimes like you do get burned out. But then there's always like some people that's like, you know, you inspired me to do this, or like I never saw anyone look like me do this, and then it just like gives me another boost to like want to keep doing it. So it's really just the community and things like that.
So having your own sneaker, having your own shoe, I want you to describe the feeling, because I can only imagine what it would feel like to be at Butter and then see somebody with my shoes on. So can you describe that? Like it don't have to be at Butter, it can just be the first time, or what does that feeling do for you when you see somebody with a pair of shoes?
No, it really makes me happy. Like even just seeing the product, just to know like the process it took to get to that point, and then just to see other people wearing it, and I think I cried a little bit when I first when I first saw it, but because it's been a journey for sure, and then just to see other people wearing it. Even if they don't know who I am, just to see other people wearing it and the joy that it can bring, it makes me happy.
What was that, I want to know the sneaker. What was that sneaker that really turns you up when you were coming up to say, oh, this is the shoe I want, like this is the shoe that kind of...
Like what shoe I like?
Yeah.
Like growing up?
Absolutely.
I think my first, I've always worn all kinds of sneakers. I think the first pair of Jordans, my brother bought me my first pair of Jordans. It was a Jordan 13. And then I was like, I don't know, I feel like that changed the game for a little, and I wore a lot of Jordans. So, like at Pike, we always have to be fresh, and everybody comes to school on Monday with the shoes that came out on Saturday, right? But then I was kind of like, okay, I kind of don't want to keep looking like everybody else. So then a friend of mine introduced me to this store that's in Carmel called Rise. It's a skate shop. So that was like my first introduction to skate sneakers. So then I kind of switched from more Jordans to more skate shoes. So like Janoskis and Dunks and things like that. So I would say it's like a Jordan and then also like a Dunk, an SB Dunk or a Blazer. Those are my favorite shoes.
So once you started, I know a lot of times people don't know where to start, and especially when you're talking about something as far as creating your own brand shoe. So what was that starting process like for you? Like, did you already have knowledge, or did you have to go out there and just make it happen?
I didn't have any knowledge. Like I said, I was actually working in insurance when I started my company. So luckily this was like the early stages of Instagram. So I would literally just hashtag sneaker designers, things like that, because I needed help. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to make it. I didn't know how to find factories, things like that. So I really just went on Instagram and started trying to find people and sending people direct messages. Most people didn't respond, but then there was one person that did respond. His name's Quentin Williams. He's in Atlanta, and he had his own footwear brand. Like he was a freelance designer, and I was like, hey, like I'm trying to do this, but like nobody's helping me. So he actually helped me like create my first shoe. So it was really Instagram that really helped me find the resources I needed. And then it was just kind of trial and error, because there were just a lot of things I didn't know about making a sneaker, trusting other people like overseas to actually make the product and deliver it, even though I've never met them before. So it was just a lot of trial and error, but a lot of help from some other people that had experience that kind of helped me in my journey.
Can you tell us about the very first time when and then you got that shoe back. What was that like for you? Because we have a lot of dreamers out here, and a lot of times I want to ask these questions so they'll know how that feels.
It felt really good, but it was also like, it didn't look how I wanted it to look. I was like, this is ugly. Like, it was really ugly. And then I started getting worried. But they were like, no, like usually the first time you do a sample of anything, like it's usually really bad. So you just have to be really particular in the measurements and like the tech pack. So you do your design like on paper or on iPad, and then you do a 3D version of it so that you can see the different angles, and then you have to do a tech pack, which is like the measurements, the materials, and all that, and you send that to the factory, and then they make it for you. So it's a lot of back and forth from the factory, a lot of test wearing, trying different materials and things like that. But it felt really good, but I was definitely worried because it was ugly. So it took maybe 2 more times to get it right. It took me probably 2 years to do like the first shoe, and I feel like it was really fake because there's just a lot of things that were going on. I skipped work, like when I was working in insurance, I skipped work to go to the Steve Harvey show in Chicago, and when I went, it was actually about entrepreneurship. So I was like, oh, like this is a good, time to skip work to learn about this. So I skipped, and the producers, they were like, hey, can you come back? Because we were younger, and they wanted like the audience to look diverse and young. So I was like, yeah, I'll come back. So I skipped work again, and I went to Steve Harvey show, and it was about entrepreneurship again, and it was like the person that made Skinny Girl Vodka. I can't remember her name. I think her name is Bethany, and she was there. And then they gave everybody in the audience $1,000 to go towards their businesses. So I used that money to help me with the samples to get the shoes made. So there's just like a lot of like incidences that were happening where it was like, I knew I was on the right path.
So somebody out there, they got a lot of PTO right now, they got dreams. So you saying?
Yeah, use your PTO.
Use your PTO.
Use your PTO, do what you have to do, because it's your life, right? I mean, the job always gonna be there, but your dreams, we only have a certain amount of time to make things work. So anything that's like on your heart, make sure you like go out and do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here at Butter, I've been to Butter all for now 5 years, and a lot of times you do just see the visual artists, or what I like about Butter is they like to incorporate a lot of different facets of art. And why do you think it's important that we have a shoe being represented here at Butter?
Shoes, I feel like fashion and art, they correlate. I think a lot of things do. They're all art in their own forms. But it's cool because I think it just comes full circle, at least for me, because I'm from here, right? And it's something that, living in Indiana and the experiences that I had here motivated me to start the shoes. So to see it here at Butter and giving other people the opportunity to purchase it and then put their own spin to it, their own art on it, I feel like it's a really special opportunity. So I'm really happy that I was able to have my products here in the shop. Hopefully you guys go out and support and buy a pair. And if it's not those pairs, I have other products as well that, you might be interested in buying.
So I know growing up, and then this is for the family as well, the dreamers, we grow up, especially I grew up with my 5 siblings and stuff. Would you say that growing up, however y'all grew up, it shaped you to become who you are today as far as the shoes and stuff as well?
I think so. I think for me personally, I think I've always kind of been like a rebel in a way. Like I don't really listen, honestly. They say that's facts. Like I do what I'm supposed to do, but like if I feel like I want to do something, I'll do it anyway. Right. Even though like my mom would be like, "Don't do this," and I would still like do it anyway. So I do feel like there were some things that kind of shaped me, and just not having access to certain things. So like here we didn't have sneaker boutiques. Like we just had going to the mall, Finish Line, Foot Locker. So you go to Chicago, they have all kinds of stuff. I feel like we had more limited resources, but we kind of are a melting pot here in Indiana, so we kind of take things from other places and kind of make them our own. So I do feel like growing up here has, made me who I am, and I put that into my work too, because literally all the things that I create are things that I, are a version of something that I wore growing up.
So if 7-year-old Brittney was sitting in this front row right now and seeing where you at today on this stage at Butter 5, representing your own brand, what would she think? What would she say?
she be hyped. She's like, okay. No, I'll be really proud. I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing, so I think she would probably be shocked, to be honest. But I always knew I would be doing something. I just didn't know exactly what it was. So just to be able to do something I'm passionate about from a young age and still be able to like make it my own has been really, really cool. So I appreciate it.
So I've been doing these interviews all weekend, and one of my favorite questions to ask is, as artists, curators, creators, I feel like everybody has this moment of like, and it could be like, I've arrived, or it could be like, oh, that felt good, or I feel complete. What was that I moment for you? What was that I've arrived moment for you?
I think it was 2021 when I got into the workshop at Macy's program. So that was like, at first it was like, okay, you have a shoe or whatever, but then when I got into Macy's, then I feel like it gave me more credibility and people were like taking it a little more serious. So I think that kind of changed it for me. And then I started getting more visibility in publications and things like that. So I feel like when I got in Macy's, that kind of was like my, okay, like, we're legit now.
So as we conclude this, I want to give you the opportunity, if you have anything that you want to share. Like I said, a lot of times I like to cater to the dreamers because we have these big dreams that we come to these spaces and we come to these beautiful events. And a lot of times people think that, oh, she's up there, she got it made, but they don't know the story, they don't know the journey. And of course, with 30 minutes, we can't dive super deep into the story, into the journey. But if you can give somebody some encouraging words to take that leap, to use that PTO, what would it be?
It would just be to start. I think most of why people don't start is just the fear, right? I think it's just fear. I think it's people don't think they're ready. I think it's people don't think they have the resources. They're like, oh, I don't have enough money, or I don't know how to do this. But I didn't know how to do anything either. But you just have to have the determination and the drive. Like if it's something that you really want, just to start, and you'll learn along the way. Like you don't have to be able to do everything. You can look out, and reach out to other people to do the things that you're not good at, but you just have to start. So I would just say, don't listen to anybody else. Especially like certain places, it's hard because you might be the only one doing something, right? And then they're like, oh, you couldn't do that, right? So just don't let other people discourage you from doing something that you want to do. So just start and follow your heart and be true to who you are.
So how can we support you and where can we follow you at?
You can support me at the Butter Shop first, that's here. But you can follow me on Instagram, PerryCo Shoes, and on our website, PerryCoShoes.com. You can also shop at Macy's.com, and then we're launching in Kohl's as well for like accessories, so at Kohl's.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brittney Perry, clap it up for her, show her some love.